Well, good morning on a cold but otherwise nice sunny day here in West Tennessee. We got a bunch of stuff to do today. We're gonna get out there and check on cows, try to get a good look at everything here in the daylight this morning. But appreciate y'all watching. Remind you to give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate subscribers as well. But let's get after it. So like I said, cool this morning, somewhere in the mid-teens. A lot of stuff didn't want to start, but it did. Got the tractor over there warming. The side-by-side didn't want to start either, but we're gonna let the tractor warm up for a few minutes. Go ahead and ride out there through them. We've already fed just some feed early this morning like we always do, but it's dark when we feed in the mornings. It's dark when we get home in the afternoon. So just want to jump on the side-by-side, ride through and check on everybody. Since our last video, we've had one or two more calves. I really can't remember. Definitely one. We did, unfortunately, I think maybe the only first calf heifer out of the group of cows we just bought that was amongst those had a stillborn calf 2 days ago. I really don't know what went wrong, just stillborn's the only way to say it. She was, actually saw her, early that morning about 5:30 when we were feeding. Was in labor, had a head and 2 front feet coming out just like you want, so it didn't really bother her much. Within an hour, sun was up, she had it, but calf was dead. So she now goes on the list that's going to go to town. I think we got 3. We had 2 just open cows that we needed to get rid of, and then of course now she does not have a calf to be nursing. So we'll probably, our plan is to go ahead and move them, get them on a truck going to town in the next week or 2. Hay supplies are going to be very tight, and so have 3 less miles to feed will help that the hay we've got go a little further. But let's ride out there and check on things, and then we'll get some hay put out. And through just a couple of buckets of feed in here with just the few calves that we've got, the smallest are, they're really not eating much creek feed, but feeders right here anyway. A couple of them have been going in there, so we hadn't been having the feed truck fill it up, just adding a bucket or 2 to it here and there. But let's ride out there and check on these mamas and babies. So they're laying down with mom coming to check on things. It's the newest calf, number 205, was born 2 days ago. Yeah, same day that we had the stillborn calf out of that heifer. That baby was born. We moved them into the barn for one night because it basically rained all day on Wednesday. It was pretty warm that morning, but this cold front moved in. And then yesterday, Thursday, the high was like 28. Had single-digit wind chills yesterday morning. And this morning, wind has really stopped blowing though. Sun's coming out, so I think in spite of the cooler temperatures, relatively nice day ahead of us. But check on that one. Obviously looks like doing pretty good. Lucy wanting to get into the feed buckets that we just emptied, but you can see, yeah, empty hay feeder there. They're still picking at that one, but yeah, they'll be happy for us to put some more hay out here pretty soon. But yeah, a few of the other babies right over here. Everybody loves to see the babies all laid down where there's a little bit of that hay on the ground. But right around here, check, be sure no surprises, no other new calves that we're not expecting. There's another baby right up there on top of the hill. But we'll get some things done. Horses over there, they did not come up early this morning, so I need to throw them some hay out as well while they're up. So got a roll unwrapped there, and that little guy, or girl, next little heifer, I gave her, that's when I gave that colostrum to, like once or twice, and she hasn't forgot. I was unrolling that, or wrapping up the wrap that I pulled off that roll, and something bumped me from behind. Yeah, she's, barking up the wrong tree today, baby. Your mom's right over there. I know she doesn't have a lot of milk, but she's got what you're gonna get. So get this one put out, get a few more put out, and I'm gonna go check on them other calves up the road. The hay is put out. See, we got rolls there, really dirty windshield, maybe you can't see. There, and we got a couple around the corner over here. So, hay is put out. We're gonna go grab a couple of rolls with the truck, some feed for the weaned calves, and then may get some fencing done even. There's a good shot with 2, 4, there's 6 of the calves there. There's one up there. Again, probably can't see through the windshield, so that's 7. There's 8. That means that's all the babies, except for one. And actually the one I'm missing, yep, he's the biggest one. Right in there, really not even, he's actually, I'm forgetting about hay, so all the calves accounted for this morning as well. Oh yeah, as I look at the horses up here, got to get them some hay thrown out too. But it is nice not having mud. No mud to speak of this morning. The ground is nice and tight. Crew seems to be excited that we've arrived with a little hay and feed. See, yeah, they were pretty much out of hay. They were still picking on that one, but other hay feeder up there pretty much empty. We'll get backed up here. There we go. Leave it up there just enough when we get the wrap off. Get a ring around it and put this other one out. Y'all hungry? Ain't even that cold now. It's pretty pleasant with the sun shining like it is, very little wind. They realized that I did have feed buckets on the truck, and that's what they really want. So now we're gonna draw a crowd. Come on, y'all knew I was gonna bring y'all some feed. Have I ever not? So they're getting them something to eat. See if we can make sure they have something to drink. Yeah, stock tank pretty low. So we're gonna have to run some water. See what we can get done here. I keep a little short piece of hose here so that I can hook up over here on this side of the Y, which is the hydrant itself is not frozen, but apparently the way the hose was left laying on the ground, there's some ice frozen in there. So put that in the truck. Our plan all along was, once we got that hay unloaded, run back home, get the side-by-side, all our fencing stuff, come back up here and work on these fences for, I don't know, a few hours. Drive the rest of the morning into the afternoon. So we'll let that hose thaw out in the truck, and then by the time we get back, we should be able to run some water for them. So we're loaded up. I'm sure we forgot something. Tried to go through everything and double check. Should have more than enough wire for what we'll get done today. Clips, steeples in there somewhere, chainsaw, because I do know of at least one spot. It's actually on some of the new fence that we really aren't even needing to stretch any additional wire, where we do have a tree on it. We'll try to get that spot fixed. But yeah, everything I can think of we have, but yeah, just playing the odds, I usually do forget something. And especially we had all that cleaned out of the side-by-side since the last time we did a lot of fencing, and so I don't know if I got everything put back in there. But we'll see. Gonna load up, Sadie. Load on up there. And we remembered the rifle, because lots of coyotes on this farm. I mean, odds are we're not gonna ride up on one on the side-by-side, but my trail cameras for the deer on this place, it's like nothing but coyotes. Like every time those cameras buzz me or I get an alert that's on that farm, you know it's a coyote. So we'll be ready if one does show himself. Well, the water situation got even better. Even though it's not above freezing, the sun bearing down on it right here, this line even thawed out, so we can just cut that off. leave that running like that. Let it fill up. You can see they drink it pretty much dry, just since we broke that ice earlier. So that's a good little relief. Well, my original plan, if this is all still frozen, I was gonna have this line just barely trickling and let it run for the 3, 4, 5 hours, however long we're back there fencing. But it's even better. So let's leave that running. That way it can fill up, it'll cut off, and then before we leave, just to get down well below freezing again tonight. We'll be set up good for tomorrow. Just to show you what we're getting ready to do, this is something we had done last winter, pretty much where we had stopped. We ran these 3 new wires, you know, in addition to those existing older wires, which you can probably appreciate how much more visible it is. But then I guess we had stopped right there. And then this is some new fence that we had put up when we first kind of bought this place, and we're redoing it. And just 4 wires there, but new wires, so it's not ideal as far as just having 4, but that's what we got right there. And then I'll show you this mess up here. Massive tree that was down back in the spring. I think we did a video kind of showing it. We just it's kind of just redneck engineered on how we have it, but there's really no way for them to get out, fortunately, unless they want to really navigate through just a jungle mess of down trees and whatnot. But yeah, we had used these wire panels here, but you can see I don't even know how many trees. It's those 2 trees, and then they took out another tree on their way down, and it's just a massive mess down through there. But you can see we're moving this root wad forced post up out of the ground. So yeah, kind of an eyesore there. But yeah, gonna start right here. See just old wires up through there. We corner up here not too far, and then go back, just start east. I'm gonna try to, that'll be it for this middle pasture on this side. And we'll just have one run on the other side. But if we can get this stretch here done today, we're gonna go fix that other spot. First 2 wires strung, the 3rd one tied on there. We're gonna head on up the hill, but moving along pretty well. We may, I mean, unless we run into something major, we should get this done, even that next section there, within another hour or so, and we may actually get started on the other side too. I didn't know that we would. Probably next priority will be fixing the one spot where I know it's down. Just go ahead and get that checked off the to-do list. But yeah, hope we got enough wire to make the run back up there, still on this roll, but we'll find out. So 3 wires stretched. I ran out of the little clips or wire tires, whatever you want to call them. So I got to grab some of those. 2, had just barely enough wire. I'm gonna grab another roll and carry it up there, and we'll start running that next line. Sadie is super interested in something. It's in that tree trunk, or at least she thinks in that tree trunk. That old dead tree fell this summer. Had to fix that spot. It was a lot less pleasant fencing that day than it is today. She's been over here digging and chewing at that stump pretty much since I got here. Yeah, close to an hour now. But who knows? So I have to make a decision here, because there's only 4 wires over there. There's actually 5 here. So if we're running 3, gotta decide if I want to run there, and there, or what we want to do. If we're only going to run 3, it would almost, if I want to put the extra time into it, it makes sense to run 4, and you could just split each segment. But all along, I think we're going to be content to run 3. I think we're running on the top, or the top 3 splits there, and there. Not a terribly far run. You can see right up there is a huge oak, horizontal, not the direction it should be laying or standing. It's actually up over the fence. It fell across the fence, but it's elevated. I'll show you when we get out there. We don't have to go too much farther than that. So this run really ain't that much further than what we just did. So yes, what a mess that is. You can see it. Tree came up right here across the fence, and it's up, it's off the ground, but it's for context how big that is. Can't really do much with it. So, I mean, I guess obviously as it rots and settles, it's probably gonna end up on the fence at some point. But for now, we're just gonna, I mean, fence is still up underneath there, where it's got this little tree kind of on a bind there. Maybe we'll get a saw and cut it. But yeah, it'll be a problem to deal with a different day. But you're gonna run these few wires, just actually the corners right there, you can see it. And then I guess there's about, what, 20 feet over there to where you hit another cross fence. But that's probably gonna be it for what we're gonna do on running this new wire today. Go over to the other side of this pasture for the next one. But I need to fix that one spot that we know is down. But I'm gonna walk over and get the side by side, drive it over here, and then I'll have the saw. I'm trying to think, it's been a month or two since started the chainsaw, so we'll see how she does. The old farm boss. Oh, camera fell while I was sawing, but got that done. So get that pulled out of the way. Got what, about 30 foot or so to stretch that wire, and then we'll start going back the other direction. Right here at the property corner, it's pretty neat seeing these old, original markers that they used. Really don't know what that is. I know on our other farm at the house, it's wagon axles. I can actually try and look at the survey and see if they identify what that apparatus is. But pretty neat. That's how long things been there. But Sadie has now moved to digging for varmints out in wide open. Oh, she might have caught something by the way she's acting, or she might just be eating an old pile of cow manure. Either is possible. Well, this is where she was. It was actually much less exciting than a mole or cow manure. She was eating grass. Dogs do that. I don't know why they do that. It's a question I get on pretty much a daily basis from clients. Not something they teach you in veterinary school, why they eat grass. I don't know. It's something you'd have to ask Sadie or some other canine. The damage to the fence here is not even as bad as I kind of remembered in my head. So yeah, obviously a tree over there on the creek fell. We're gonna have the top wire definitely broken. The next one's, yeah, the second wire is broken over there, if not even possibly in here somewhere. But it's gonna take more time, just chainsaw work and getting those little limbs off of it. Sweet gum tree. But then the actual tying the wire back, you can see we had another tree on it right there. It was a much bigger mess. The whole top was out here. Actually still had the dozer down here at that time, and so we cut it off and then pushed the top off with the dozer. But this ain't gonna be near as big of a fix. So, like we suspected, top wire is broken. Second wire, or from the top, Actually, it broke way over here. It actually pulled out. We had spliced it using one of those crimps. Not that crazy about those. You see I used them there. Just pulled out. But we will stretch that back together. Tighten it there. And just tie this top wire back together. Gonna be a quicker fix than I thought. But you can see, of course, this was all brand new fence. This part of the farm was not fenced at all. There's some, I say that, there's some remnants of some really, really old fence down here, but it's the creek, which is right here, I don't know if you can see, is basically the property line. The property line's even across the creek in some spots, but it's just barely. So we just fenced them out of the creek. NRCS helps pay for some of the fence too if you do that. So, but we can get that wire tied back, and then it's only 2 o'clock, but need to meet a buddy, take care of some business with him, and so we were kind of at a stopping point over there. If I didn't have to meet him, we could have we wouldn't have enough time to get another full run done anywhere, so it was a good stopping point. Fortunately, it took me until just now to figure it out, but I figured out what we forgot. We forgot the wire stretcher, so for splicing this wire back together, we're gonna have to do it just the manual way. May not get it quite as tight as we would have with the stretcher, but not too big of a deal. We're gonna get this taken care of. We're not gonna leave it to do it later. But yeah, like I said, I knew I was gonna forget something, which that wasn't really on the top of my list of things we needed, because I knew I didn't need it just for putting up the new wire. Let's Sadie over there, running down the ridge. I'm gonna tell her what she's after. So what we do, we just tie a loop in the wire there, tie a loop in the other end there, and then we take another piece of wire to tie in between them. This is when it's nice. If you got that wire stretcher, you can clamp it there and there and then ratchet it real tight and tie it off. But we get it as tight as we can. A few tricks, we can use to get it a little tighter if we're not happy with the way it looks. And not super happy with how tight you can get that just by hand, but we'll probably just drive a staple up there on that post, stretch it just a little tighter. Now we're gonna do the same thing with this next wire, just down there. All right, so she's done. And actually what I did to tighten them up, you can see there's kind of a bend in the fence there. That's why that wood post is there to pull them tight. And so I just took these 2 wires off the post where I had some slack, tightened them, tied, and just kind of eyeballed it about how tight I thought they needed to be, and then pushed them back in real tight and drove a couple of staples. And I don't know if that makes sense explaining it like that, but those are all back on there. Everything's pretty good and tight. And yeah, maybe a tree won't fall in this exact same spot again for a while, but yeah, the reality, pretty much all our fence rows are along tree lines, so very, very little of our fence is not at danger of having something like that fall in at some point. But we can get loaded up. I think I gotta go meet a friend of mine here in just a few minutes. Head back up there. Gotta cut that water off because it's gonna, things get down to 17 again tonight, so that'll freeze, of course. But that may about wrap it up for this video. Got at least part of a project done. This is gonna be an ongoing project for the rest of the winter. Probably one good day to do this line down this side of the property and that next pasture. I'm probably looking at maybe 2 good days, because the north pasture on this place, the entire perimeter of it, practically speaking, needs to be done. And that is the biggest pasture on the place, so probably a good 3 days, but try to do that while it's still nice and cool, no bugs or anything to worry about. But appreciate y'all watching. Again, you stuck with this long, you can give it a thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. Let me remind you, eat beef and God bless. We had a casualty today. The bar oil got too close to the barbed wire. So, minor little oil spill there. Probably need to put a little on the chainsaw anyway, so that'll take care of that.